So that's my assumption now. But I don't know the characteristic of the lopa or of the attachment.
So at the moment of seeing people, there is metta or attachment.
Attachment.
So what's the use of having metta meditation?
In those days, it helped my behavior because I used to have a tendency to lose my temper and shout at people.
Because it's yours, so you develop lopa.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that.
But you take that for metta, for
no,
having metta.
absolutely. We want to escape from dosa.
Because when there's attachment, no one can do harmful thing to the others at all.
Yeah.
When there's metta.
When it's an attachment.
Yeah, and I think it helps. Yeah, and I think many people are helped in that way, but in the long run, it doesn't help them because they're just developing more lopa and accumulating more lopa and more self-attachment.
Lopa is the cause for dosa.
That's right. So in the long run, it doesn't help, but in the short term, I've experienced benefits
But
in terms of behavior.
Can you know the difference at moment of seeing whether there is metta or attachment?
There was no understanding of that
but you
at all.
assume that you have metta.
No, now I know it was all attachment, but there were changes in behavior that I have to acknowledge.
So you like to have lopa behavior?
Not anymore. Thanks to your talks. Do you have any?
So about metta thing is, because I organized this retreat, I haven't done metta retreat before, right? So I was just curious to see how it works. So I see people changes, right? Like I do see them change in the retreat, and then, but also I believe I try a little bit myself, but I really believe is understanding dosa that can ultimately to remove the dosa, not to keep cultivating the opposite that can remove or reduce dosa. So actually, when dosa arise, just to see, to be aware of it. Yeah, that's. I think that's the understanding. Understand whatever arises instead of trying to do the opposite or something.
No, but metta is useful, is
course.
good. The
course.
point here is to know whether it is metta or lopa. That's important.
Yes, but also in my little retreat, I try myself in Myanmar. I surprisingly, through this meditation, I understand attachment better. Right? So I actually, from the retreat, I myself see the difference between attachment and true metta.
So you need a retreat for dosa and attachment instead of metta.
It's just doing it to someone I attach.
Yeah.
I can see attachment, and I know it's not true metta. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to recognize it. So it's good because now I understand attachment better.
But that was thanks to studying Abidhamma?
No, I was doing metta. I was doing metta retreat.
Metta is calm, right?
Yes.
At that moment, if there is no panya, can one see whether it's calm or attachment?
No, cannot.
And so one thinks that one is thinking about metta, but what about calmness? So samatha bhavana is the development of calmness.
There was calmness.
Without understanding, one can take lopa for calm.
Subtle attachment,
Yes.
mistaken for calm.
Actually, I sort of know I cannot say I can recognize the subtle attachment, but the calmness, the tranquility, the mind can recognize it. So whether this attachment, attachment to the experience itself versus attachment to the person of the object of matter. I was saying I sometimes I can the mind can tell, or the panya can see. Sometimes it cannot. But I was saying that through this this exercise, I can see the attachment towards the object versus true metta. I can.
You think it's through the exercise or in spite of it?
Of course, there's many factors. I'm not saying it's the only because I did this retreats or the study, contemplation, everything.
Not the fact that it happened there, as it could happen here.
Yes, of
It
course.
could happen here.
Of
It
course.
means that it's by conditions,
Of
not
course.
a matter of place where.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying in the beginning. I was saying the matter I see is arising externally to this Namarupa. I can see when it arises in daily life, not in retreat.
You can think about it.
Yeah.
And can you see it as distinct from
So
attachment?
what do you mean?
Because you think you can see others metta, but actually
You
seeing
what?
can only see
a
visible
perception.
object and can only
Yes.
think about it and think,
one.
this is metta, this is not. But
I
actually
thought it
it's
was
just
violence.
It's a perception. Yeah, so I would say that's a sanya. It's just a perception.
Yeah.
Yes.
actually impossible to know.
Impossible?
Like at this moment. We can say, Ajan Suchin has metta. How do we know at this
Just
moment?
assumption.
Impossible.
Assumption.
Just
Yeah.
all that's seen is visible object and thinking, she's so patient, she must have, who knows? No. She maybe may have dose at this moment, we don't know.
I thought you were talking about our own.
No, she was
distinct
talking
no,
about
no.
metta.
No, for example, I agree because I agree. Sometimes I would say from the gesture of a kind word, a kind offering, the mind will assume, he's kind. This is matter from him. Of course, there's a projection in perceiving sanya, just thinking, right? I agree because we are never sure. Yeah.
We don't know our own cheetahs, let alone others.
So that's-
I agree. But the mind still perceives that way.
But it could be
It could
at
be.
that moment some contemplation on metta, just generally, to some understanding between metta and attachment at the intellectual level. And maybe you're not insisting that you're actually seeing metta, but just a reminder to think about metta.
So I would just say the mind thinks about it not because he wants to. He just recognizes it. I'm just telling you. For example, Tom was very nice on the card 2 days ago. I just keep thinking, he thinks himself, right? He says he's very kind. He's very kind, right? So of course there could be other reflection, but the mind just happens that way. He picks things. He thinks it's matter. Yeah.
Always thinking.
Yeah.
Jan, I was wondering, we're talking about knowing the difference between metta and attachment, and then you said there's also seeing one as calm, metta is calm, and attachment is not. And we know that metta is also accompanied by alopa. So I was wondering whether one can recognize metta or know the difference by way of detachment.
I think that is so strange, because if one understands that metta has to do with people, right? Beings. And we sit and try to have metta by thinking about whatever name, no appearing of people and things at all, and think that we have metta while one thinking about those people. But what about the nature of metta? That one is friendly to anybody or a creature, like dog, cats, birds, so on. When it appears, this is a proof whether there is more metta or less, or still have lots of attachment and aversion. But try to have metta when they do not appear at that moment at all. Is that the development of metta? Because you see that the development of samatha and vipassana. Samatha means develop kusala citta, which will condition calmness until